Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the HP Spectre X360 late 2019 refresh. Now that may be a mouthful, but this machine has a tremendous amount of promise, and it's been a long time since I've put an HP in the studio, let alone reviewed one to share with all of you, and there's a reason. Nothing has really been that compelling. Now, the Spectre's looks aren't my favorite, but they have put together a machine here that has really impressed me. So let's start off with the specifications. You can see them right here. We've got, of course, the Intel 10th Gen Ice Lake i7 processor, complemented by a 1 terabyte Intel SSD. Also, of course, the 32 gig Intel Optane that you're going to find on pretty much every single laptop this year in the refresh, of course. Similarly to the Lenovo C940 that I also unboxed. We have 16 gigs of RAM. And then the most impressive feature for me, besides what you're going to find basic everywhere else, is a 13.3-inch 4K OLED display that has, from my understanding, 1000 nits of brightness, color accuracy off the charts. And this is what really makes this model intriguing, besides the fact that it has everything else going for it. It does have a fingerprint reader. It also has the Windows Hello IR camera. That's been redesigned. And then you're going to see once I get this out of the box that there has been just about a full redesign of the bezel. We now have a 90% screen to body ratio, which if you look at the previous generation, I mean, it was bezel town. So big difference here in terms of what you're going to see versus previous gen. It also got slimmer, so it did lose some weight, even though it maintained that 13-inch display, 13.3 to be exact, and just everything about it looks great. The Intel Iris Plus graphics, another great thing for something that is, you know, basically a 360 2-in-1. You can see first out of the box they give us a little carrying case. I'll be showing you more of that later. I'm not sure if there's anything else in there. Let's just pull it out and see. And again, HP is not something that I would normally be unboxing, but this laptop, from every single angle, except for maybe I wish they did a little something different on the design, even though they improved it. I mean, the color scheme and, you know, the gem cut, it's not really my favorite, but I cannot fault this in any other regard because this thing just has everything under the sun. And the other laptop that I think is most comparable is the Yoga C940. I mean, both of them have the 360 design. Both of them have pen input. Of course, come with a pen. I'm going to go ahead and show you this case now. And it's nice that they include it, but certainly not necessary. And this retails, this build. You can purchase it at Best Buy or go direct with HP. And you're looking at, for the 4K i7 with the 1 terabyte, $16.99, which I think is actually a decent price. I mean, the Lenovo C940 that I keep mentioning is actually a more expensive machine and arguably has less going for it in terms of hardware, but the Lenovo, I think, has a better design. So it's really a matter of personal preference, what you're in the market for. If the physical aesthetic of this laptop fits what you're looking for, then you're going to be very happy, at least based on what I've seen on paper. And to my knowledge, again, much like the Lenovo that I just unboxed, no one has actually played with this outside of IFA back in September. So if I'm the first, so be it. I have no problem with it. It's been a long time since I've gone a little laptop crazy, and it's that time of the year. So with that said, let's open it up. I know you've been waiting, as have I. And there it is. It is, as I mentioned, substantially smaller, 2.89 pounds, I believe. So it's still, you know, not the smallest out there. Let's see if I can find a way to take it out of there. I'll just do it the way I would normally do it. Look at me palming that thing. And oh, is it a nice little laptop. Aluminum body. You know, I'm not in love with this copper finish that they've been doing, or gold, whatever color. It almost looks like a rose gold. But let's get it out of there, and I'll get to what else is in the box. Don't worry, I won't forget it, I promise. And I'm not really interested in these as much for their 360 functionality, although that's a nice extra bonus, but it's more so about their functionality, their capability in such a small form factor. I mean, that is the beauty. You know, between the Ice Lake 10th Gen i7, then being complemented by the Iris Plus graphics, you really have a different kind of mobile system. So let me get that out of here, some paperwork. And we have our power brick, which kind of fell out, which is just a Type-C charger that they have with a braided cable, which is actually, in my opinion, much nicer than what we're getting with the Lenovo that I was just mentioning. And these really are up against each other. I mean, yes, Dell is still there. I've always been a big fan of Dell. I'm not sure I'm in love with this wraparound design that they created here, but it's not bad. I believe this will be also a 65-watt charger like everything else. Yes, it is. Something I wish would have been included with the Surface Pro 7, and that's another machine I'll be comparing this to. Here is the pen. Now, HP does not give you a place to actually stick this pen, which is unfortunate. This is the only place, I guess, is this little box, but still nice that you get it, something that every other manufacturer, for the most part, is going to charge you to get. And you've noticed probably it works off of a quadruple A battery. Not my favorite solution, but something I'm accustomed to from previous machines. So let me get this out of the way, and let's take a look at the machine. And again, it's going to be a tight race between this and the Lenovo and the Surface laptop. The Surface Pro 7, I feel like, is a different category because it's clearly tablet, you know, trying to replace a laptop. Here we've got something a little more unique. That's at least my take on things. Move the pen over here. Let's take a look at this. We'll see if it has any charge. Now, I can tell you already, you know, there's more flex in this because of the aluminum build than in the Lenovo. The Surface laptop, I already know there's more flex here. And the one thing I will say is that in spite of where the design, you know, leaves me wanting more, the reality is that HP has addressed so many things. I mean, that's why this has so much potential, and I'm just hoping it lives up to it. So we now have Windows Precision drivers for the trackpad, something that was a big swing and a miss on the previous gen. The build, though, the chassis still has flex. I wish it did not. We have our fingerprint scanner right there in the lower right side of the machine. We have, I would say overall, a nice chiclet-style keyboard, decent travel. It feels good. I had already looked at this, you know, on previous generations. That really hasn't changed. It's amazing that they have a Windows Hello IR camera at the very top of this machine, if you can see it without the glare. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And then to boot, and I'm going to power this up, don't worry, as I say to boot. Left side of the machine, we have our power button right there. We have our headphone jack. We have a Type A port that has a little cover. And then on the right side, we have a micro SD card slot, which I really appreciate, something a lot of manufacturers are doing away with SD card support, even in the form of micro. I'm not a fan of that, so I like that HP has still brought this. We have a camera privacy switch right there, a Type-C port. This has Thunderbolt, another Type-C port. So you do have Thunderbolt capability which is nice, to say the least. I do wish there was a place to stick the pen. There is not. So that's something, but not a major deal. And, you know, the fit and finish, it's, as I said, it's something I got to get used to, and I'll see how it performs. But let's power it on, if I can remember. It's on the left side. And really, the differentiator here is that OLED display. I mean, that is what I'm excited about. And it looks like we got some juice. I believe this thing officially launches on the 27th of October, even though today is the, what is it, the 25th? And of course, touchscreen, much like the Lenovo, much like the Surface Pro 7, much of the competing products out there. The backlight looks nice on this keyboard, and I'm just excited about it. Wow, yeah, already I can see it. I mean, the 1000 nit brightness and the near bezel-less design, I think, brings the HP Spectre into the present, and that's a big deal. So, I mean, I'll, you know, go through starting this thing up, getting it set, putting it through some paces, but again, between the Core i7, trying to mute her, between the Core i7, as well as, you know, having an OLED display like this, having SD input, having Thunderbolt, Type-C ports, you know, more than enough capability, a very nice keyboard. They fixed the trackpad, hopefully. I mean, it looks like it. I'm not seeing input lag. I'm not seeing any dead spots. I mean, if there is, it's not enough for me to notice. No dead spots being noticed here. So this is really looking like a sharp, sharp machine here in 2019. And I expect other manufacturers to bring their game because of a machine like this. In terms of the battery life, The battery size has stayed the same. However, I think they're rating this at somewhere around 9 hours. If that's true, it's still a winner. I mean, if you want more battery life, go with the full HD version rather than the UHD OLED. But for me, the OLED is worth every single minute of power drop off of power loss, because it's a completely different experience, especially if you're a content creator or if you just care about the screen that you're looking at. But for me, previewing anything that I filmed, reviewing photos, the OLED is where it's at. It always has been. Anyone who follows my channel knows how much I care about that. The 360 function, I don't care that much. It's nice that it's there. But again, this is just a really slick looking machine, and I'll just have to see whether or not it performs. One other thing I want to point out is that as it got smaller, they had to remove the quad firing speakers. So the speakers that were mounted up at the top of the bezel are gone. We'll see how much that impacts performance. And they have changed cooling on this, because that was another flaw essentially in the design from what the research I've done, is that it just, these small machines, it's very difficult to keep them cool. So some improvements have been made there. I think there are 3 heat pipes now. Anyway, I will test it. We will find out. And I'll also see, of course, what battery life is like. Again, I like the included charger. I like that it can charge other devices that I have that are Type-C. So a lot going for this HP Spectre. I will be giving you an update, all of you an update, as quickly as I can, because, again, I have seen zero coverage of this laptop or the Lenovo, and to me, they are easily the 2 most compelling ultra portables on the market right now. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.